All right, and we should be live now. I just got a notification at the top of my screen that says this hangout is live. Did you guys get that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Top left hand corner. Hello, everybody.
Good morning, Jared.
Morning, Ben.
And
How are
it's
you, bud?
Doing all
probably
right,
gonna
man.
take it's probably gonna take anybody that is gonna watch this right now a minute to even get in here. Because I haven't posted a link anywhere for the watch page.
Well,
I
get
should
on
do
it.
that.
What's going on?
Well, because Walton just popped in, and I haven't talked to Walton in a while. What's up, Walton? How you doing, dude?
Hey. Well, we're going back out to Salton on the 16th.
On the 16th?
That should be pretty cool. I got a trailer. I'm waiting for one more approval, and then I'm going to make it public. So Sydney and I were talking earlier last week about going out and finishing what we started with the tower observation, and then Mr. Thrive and Survive wants to come out to Salton as well. So
That sucks. I wanted to meet him, but I don't think I'll be able to go.
oh well,
Unless...
it's going to be. I mean, it's open. We're inviting anyone who wants to come. So.
Well, no, I wasn't thinking that was the issue. That wasn't the issue. I know that I was invited.
Okay.
It was more of I don't really have time to play around right now, Wendell, you know?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, this last month has it's been an adventure. I've kind of really become my own mechanic. These guys on the channel have gone through it like step by step with me, dude. I've had a hell of a month dealing with my car. Like, it keeps going to maybe it's this or maybe it's that, you know? Like, it's like really frustrating.
Yeah, it's all part of troubleshooting. I feel your pain.
Like, in a couple hours, I'm actually going to be jacking my car up, putting it on stands, changing the oil, and pumping out the hose that runs near the heater core.
Wow.
And like, I'm doing this, dude. Like, first off, I'm not a freaking mechanic, bro.
Well, all you gotta do is find a YouTube on
it. Well, you see, Wendell, so I did something to my car that mechanics, like at a normal shop, won't even touch my car because of the problem.
When we had our previous Prius, the dealer wanted $3,000 to replace the battery, and I went online and figured out how to do it and got it fixed for $50. So pulled out the battery without electrocuting myself. So it can't be done.
Was it just the bus bars that were needing to be cleaned?
No. The battery itself is like 20 or 22 different individual cells. So you have to test each one, and only like
it was just one cell. How many cells went bad? I'm sorry.
2 out of like 22. They would have replaced the whole thing, but only a couple of them need to be replaced.
Yeah, isn't that really cool? I found out about that too when I started driving a Prius. This guy said he bought a completely dead Prius, and he pulled the battery pack out, and he actually swapped out every cell, right? Just to be safe. Like, he just wanted a fresh battery and just to use the pack.
Yeah.
Right. And so he swapped out every cell, and it cost him like $1,200 or something like that. Like, that is half of what the dealer was.
Yeah.
More than half. Like,
yeah. And it's kind of, they made it idiot proof. There's really no way you can electrocute yourself. You'd have to like grab and on one hand on each side of the battery, one on top, one underneath, and So you'd have to really do it on purpose if you wanted to get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, you'd basically have to like lay on your engine naked, touching a bunch of points in your car. Like,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, no, I've so the thing that I did to my car that they didn't want to touch was so the hybrid battery has a cooling system.
Okay.
So it has an inverter pump, which actually it pumps. When you look under your hood in a Prius, you know how you have two reservoirs for coolant?
Okay, I haven't looked there in a while, but I'll take your word for it.
But yeah, so yeah, it's not because your engine needs that much coolant. It's because your engine needs coolant and the battery needs to stay cool.
You know, that must be something new. We had a 2004 Prius the first year that came out. And with that one, and we got a new one now, 2016, but with that one, it just had a fan. It had a blower fan, not an actual like radiator.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah, you want to keep batteries cool. I know for my vape, I've had a couple of batteries explode on me. So, yeah, batteries aren't to be trifled with for sure.
So, one of the things that I did was I actually I replaced the inverter pump. Oh wait. Okay, so my bad. It's not the battery that gets coolant to it in the back. It's the inverter converter under your hood that needs to be cooled off because
yeah, that would heat up too, wouldn't it? Wow.
Yeah, that's got fluid running into it. That's what it is. And there's a pump, like a water pump attached to that. That's got two hoses that attach to it.
Okay.
And it's underneath that inverter. That inverter is a big ass heavy box, like, and it's got all these high powered looking wires going to it, and it looks really scary. And so the mechanics don't touch it. As a matter of fact, when it pulls up that they need to deal with that, it actually says that it's a dealer repair.
Oh. Yeah, and they'll charge an arm and a leg. So what are you having to do it now?
Oh, well, okay, so it started throwing a code, right, dude? At the very beginning.
Yeah.
And it was a P261B code, and it says that it's the water pump. Well, I just had the water pump replaced coming home from Denver with Sydney and Snack.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
Like there's like a brand new water pump in it. And the water pump is working because like I can see fluid moving in the reservoir, meaning it's being pushed in there. Like, so that wasn't the case. And then I found out from them that it is not that water pump, it's the inverter pump. So hence why I went to the inverter pump. When they told me it was gonna be like 750, like $800, depending on what they had to do, and how long it took them. It could cost up to $1,000 about for them to do the inverter pump. You want to know why? Because their book tells them that it's a 6-hour job at least.
Oh, wow. Huh.
But I learned a little hack to get to it without having to do what they had to do. Now, granted, it did take me a while to do it, but that's just because I don't know cars, dude. I didn't know how to pull shit out. There's a part to that plugs into the mass airflow sensor, right? That it's really easy to get off now that I know how to get it off. But even watching a video where a guy removes it, there's no way I would have known. Like, because he reaches down and like it looks like he like clicks a tab or something, but like when I went to go do that, there was no tab underneath, and I was like, "What the hell?" And it turns out there's one little tab inside the tube where it catches and holds, and all you have to do is just lift it up just enough for it to pop over that, and it slides right out. Like, so here I'm afraid that I'm like gonna break my damn car because like I'm like bending it and it's really not wanting to bend. And then all of a sudden, like, you just get to this point where it just goes click and then just slides out. Like, it's like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And I dealt with that for 45 minutes, dude, because I didn't want to break my car and then have to pay for something new, you know? Like, I don't have the money to replace stuff that I break because I'm being an idiot.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, good that you got it figured out. That's a cool hack.
Well, so I figured out how to do that, but the thing is that didn't fix my problem.
Right.
Like I unplugged the battery, I pulled the fuses to clear the computer, and within a couple of minutes the code came back. Like,
do you have a code reader?
Yeah, I got a Bluetooth code reader.
Not one that actually plugs in under the dash?
Well, it's got a little dude, it looks like an old game cartridge from like an old video game.
Okay.
And plugs into the sensor and then
Okay.
connects Bluetooth to my phone.
Oh, okay. So that should be about the same thing. All right.
Now granted, it's not like a high-tech one that breaks it down more, but dude, I've done tons of research on this. I actually have gotten a hold of a couple Toyota mechanics. I've talked to a couple different shops. That's why I've gone through this process, dude. Is like I've just been troubleshooting it through these different people of what it's doing, what doesn't make sense by what I've already done. You know, like it's
I was
it's
just
tough.
thinking I was able to clear the codes through the reader, not having to pull all the fuses.
Yeah, no, I know. Normally you're able to do that if it's not a recurring problem.
Oh, okay.
But like even with the code reader, it kept coming back after a couple minutes.
Well, does the car act differently?
Well, it has been not getting the greatest gas mileage, which is a big, like, you know, red flag for Priuses that something's up. And since I've had the car, the heater hasn't really quite worked, dude.
Well, I thought that it was covered for a while. Or are you beyond the warranty on it now?
I'm beyond the warranty on it now, dude.
All right.
I
wonder if you need to like reinstall the base software, like flash the BIOS or whatever. You know what I mean? Maybe it just needs to be reset completely.
I have no idea. There's all kinds of things that can cause this, actually, though. It's interesting. Like, another thing that I did was I unplugged a bunch of the electrical connections and I got electrical cleaner and I cleaned them, right? I sprayed them down and cleaned them and then let them dry and then plugged them in. And I did that because I had work done on it in Denver, and like I don't know how they treated my car when they unplugged that, and they had to unplug the water pump at some point. So it kind of made sense to me to check that sensor for if it was dirty.
Yeah, you don't know.
I pulled the fuse to the water pump, and the metal had black marks on it, dude.
Oh. Huh.
Like, so I changed the fuse. That didn't fix it. You know, like I have Wendell, you know the way that I research, bro. And this has tested my limits on my researching, dude. This is fucking insane.
Well, if you've got black marks at your fuse, then maybe you've got a short in the wiring from the fuse box to the pump. You know, have you ever tried to put like an ohm meter on the wires?
I have a multimeter. Should I start?
I would.
Okay.
Yeah, check it because you'll be able to see right away if it's you got some resistance there or not.
Does your battery drain? If it sets, does your battery drain off?
No. Like I've never had to like jumpstart my car or anything like that. Never had it hesitate because the battery was weak or something like that. No.
Okay.
And oh, you're asking about the 12-volt battery then basically, right?
Well, because if your battery's draining, generally what I do first is I'll disconnect the terminal and I'll put a test light between the terminal and the wire, the cable. And if you have a short, that'll light up if you have something draining. And then what I do is I'll go in the fuse block and I'll pop the fuses one at a time until that light goes out. And when
That's
the
kind
light
of impossible for me to do in my car because the the 12-volt battery is in the trunk and everything else is up under the hood.
Oh, well, you just have to have somebody watch the light until it goes out. But if it's not draining, that's not an issue, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. That was something that I checked because that was something that somebody brought up. They said that a weak battery could cause funky things in a Prius, apparently.
Yep, it does.
And so I checked my battery and that was fine.
Did you check it with a multi-tester or did you check it with a load tester?
With a multimeter.
Okay, check it with a load tester because your battery can read full charge, but the minute you turn your key, it'll go drop right down to nothing. And a load tester really is the only way to properly check a battery.
That's true.
Okay, you know what? This multimeter I have is like a fucking 7-function multimeter. I think it may have a load setting on it, if I remember correctly, when I looked up the directions on it.
Or,
check.
I mean, if he had the car on and the battery had a load on it, test it then. Wouldn't that work the same?
Did you say if the car was running?
Oh, yeah, but it would be charging it at the same time. So
Yeah, if it's running, it's charging with the alternator.
Yeah,
so it doesn't necessarily work that way. But you just put the load tester on, and it should read about 13.5 volts at least. And then when you hit that load tester, it should stay in the green. If it doesn't stay in the green, then your battery's definitely lost charge. It's weak.
Okay.
But that's just to check your battery.
So all right. Check this out. So I'm only halfway done with the story, Wendell.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I told you I've been through a whole process, man. Like this has been insane. Like, so then after replacing the inverter pump, right? I hook everything back up, start driving, or I had to burp the system because I put fluid back into it, right?
Okay.
So I had to run it and let it run and get the air out.
Right.
So I start doing that, and then next thing you know, my car starts shutting off after a couple minutes. And I plug in the Bluetooth sensor, and it's telling me that it's overheating now. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Oh, okay.
So
does it overheat on you all the time, or is it just
no? This is the first time, like, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Well, okay, I take that back. When it was throwing the water pump code when I was coming home from Riverside, and then I had to pull over and have it towed home, it overheated and shut off. And then I pulled over, turned the car off, turned it back on, and it turned back on. I made a U-turn, just decided to roll down the hill, pulled into the first parking lot and got a tow truck. So like that was the first time it overheated. And then that was when I took it to a shop. They told me that it wasn't the actual water pump, it was the inverter pump, and they told me that they don't work on it, that I have to take it to the Toyota dealership because it's a dealer repair. And so then I did it myself instead. Then when it started overheating, I checked what it could be, and I called the guy up again that told me it wasn't the water pump. And I'm like, dude, when I left your shop, my car started overheating. I go, tell me it's not the water pump, dude. Like, you're trying to tell me like a part just can't fail. Almost, I've seen parts that have been broken coming from the factory.
Right.
Like, it's like, come on, dude. It's not that hard to conceptualize this going on. But apparently it was for him. So he didn't want to switch out my water pump, but he threw out, like he was like, it could be this, it could be that, it could be this, it could be that, right? One of the things that he happened to say was the thermostat. And I was like, okay. So I look up how much a thermostat is. Thermostat's $50. Okay. So I buy a thermostat. And then I proceed to install the thermostat. That was a pain in the ass. With me, dude, I really don't know a whole lot about cars, man. Like most of my life, I never really worked on my cars. When I had my Saturn, I started working on it. Started getting pretty decent at it because it was easy to work on. It was pretty much a no-brainer. This car is driving me nuts because it's so much computer mixed with the mechanical.
Yeah.
Like, and so much of the mechanical relies on the computer. Like it's a hell of a cycle, you know.
How many miles do you have on this car?
160,000.
Okay. I had an overheating problem, and I'm just curious. Have you checked it could be a head gasket.
What would be the symptoms of the head gasket?
Do you have any water coming out of your exhaust? Is it, do you got steam coming out of your exhaust? That would be water getting through the head gasket and it's going off in your cylinders.
No.
Well, and a way you can check it though is pull your plugs and do a compression test.
Well, okay, so check this out. So this is why I'm flushing my heater core today. Okay? Is because apparently the tubes wrap around the heater core under my hood. And I guess they can get blocked, like with debris and shit or something. Like, I don't know what, but apparently your heater core can get blocked. I don't get that.
That's true. Your heater core can get blocked.
But
Like,
then you would just have no heat inside.
But it will also,
I don't have any heat inside, Wendell. I've been
Oh.
losing heat for months now.
Okay, with your heater core though, if you back flush your heater core, in other words, you got to take your hoses off, and the direction that your water flows, run water through it the opposite direction with the hose, and you'd be surprised. You might flush a bunch of crap out of there.
That's what I was told. I was
Yes.
actually told to do that and then
Right.
switch it and flush it the other way to fully get it all out.
Exactly. Because the heater core also helps your cooling system.
Right.
Exactly. And it's attached to it's got coolant running to it. It's attached to the water pump. So check this out. If it's blocked, that would be building up pressure if the water pump is working and trying to push it, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well,
So
does the
backflush
water
that
pump
heater core. I'm sorry, Wendell, go ahead.
I was just going to ask: is there only one water pump that drives coolant to both the inverter as well as the engine and the heater?
No, the inverter has its own pump. That's what I replaced on my own in my driveway. That's underneath that inverter box. There's an inverter pump right underneath that. Looks nothing like the other water pump at all.
Okay, and you're not having to like put water in the radiator all the time.
Oh, hell no.
All right. Well, at least maybe it sounds like you're not losing any water, but they haven't. Stranger things have been known to happen. You just got to take one problem at a time when you're troubleshooting. So since you know that you don't have any heat inside, then very likely your heater coil is plugged up, and you need to at least take care of that, and that might solve the other problems.
Well, you see, I got a hold of my roommate's friend, and it's her boyfriend actually. His name is Roy. Really nice guy, and he's more than willing to come over here and help me work on this for like a 12-pack of beer. So that is extremely helpful.
Definitely.
But yeah, so this is actually what the inverter pump looks like, Wendell.
Okay.
All right. Like, that thing is really hard to get to. Like really, really hard to get to.
But you
And
did it.
water runs through that inverter too?
Yeah, super long lasting coolant actually.
Okay. If you have no heat in your car, the first thing I would do is flush that I would back flush that heater core, or completely bypass that heater core. Just connect your two hoses together and see what you got. You're not going to have any heat then, of course, but you'll have a better flow. Your water will flow better.
Yeah, that's true.
That would be interesting. But I think I'm just going to try flushing it out first. And then, because I don't have time to fuck with this. I really don't. I need to get this done, get that code cleared to where things are running right, so I can get back on the road. Like, I don't have time to screw around with my car in the driveway playing scientist right now, like I wish I had more time right now so that I could actually play with some stuff, because I was at Harbor Freight the other day and man, I could have a field day. The other night, some girl at the gas station asked me why I'm not a mechanic. And I was like, because I'm not a mechanic.
How do you plan on connecting the hose to the heater coil?
Well, I don't have to connect it to the heater coil. The firewall, right? There's an inlet hose and an outlet hose that are right there, right on top of each other, right? They're stacked like a double barrel over under shotgun.
Okay.
All right. And then like the directions tell you to get up under near the firewall and unplug that, right? And then attach a hose into that, right? Now, me and my roommate were sitting there looking at my car and we're going, why would we attach a tube? Like, because like now we need to go get a tube, right? Like, when both of these have tubes running out of them that they're trying to tell me I need to disconnect, like, so instead of disconnecting the tubes up at the firewall, I'm gonna disconnect them. I'm gonna try disconnecting them farther down, right? That way, A, they're kind of easier to connect, and B, I possibly won't have to actually get any extra stuff that I don't need, you know?
What's the diameter of the heater hose?
I have no idea. Let's see.
You're gonna need some kind of connector. I mean, if it's a small one, like a 1/4-inch tube or something.
Dude, they were using like Gorilla Tape to hold that shit together, man.
Oh, yeah, that might work too. I was thinking
I'm
like
sitting here looking at a roll of flex tape.
Okay. That's meant to repair hoses and stuff, so it would probably work. Just need something that can be pressurized.
Yeah, this stuff is supposed to like repair like pipes and shit, right?
Yeah. Yep. It's like elastic PVC, and so when it wraps over itself, it gets pretty watertight and strong. So
Yeah.
you got to give it like 5 or 6 wraps, and
Dude, I bought this trying to fix a bong.
that had to work for that too, I guess.
It did for a minute, and then I messed it up. The tape was actually too strong. When I tried to take the tape off to fix it, I ended up just breaking it in half. And I was like, oops.
Well, oh well.
But yeah, so got the diameter of the hose, and I'm gonna flush it out. And another thing that I was told by the mechanic that I was gonna bring it to, because okay, so for a minute, I basically figured that I had it boiled down to, well, it's just a faulty part, you know? Like, what if it is just a faulty part? And so I was going to take it back to, so my car's not under warranty anymore, Wendell, but at least that water pump is under warranty.
Okay.
Okay. But every time I call one of these shops to have them do it, they give me all these things that it could be instead. And you see, the problem is, and what scares me the most is that they want to charge me a diagnostic fee right off the bat. If it is the water pump, I get the diagnostic fee. If it's not, I don't get the diagnostic fee, and then it costs me whatever to get whatever fixed that they find. Like, you know, like it basically costs them. It cost me $130 for them to tell me what they think is wrong with my car. Not what's actually wrong with my car, what they think is wrong with my car.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because when I was at the Toyota dealership, their remedy, when it was throwing this code, was to replace the water pump, right? And that was going to be $1,000 job for them to replace the water pump.
Wow.
So, like, dude, I couldn't do that. Like, and why would I have them do a water pump when I have a year warranty on the water pump that's in there?
Right.
So I just had to take it to any Napa dealership. What I should have done is just take it to the Toyota dealership. Well, no, because that would have screwed me over because they're just ridiculous with their prices on stuff. And they lie. Like flat out. They told me all kinds of stuff. They told me that my headlights, like, you know how when they do your little like whatever point inspection or whatever, right?
5 point.
And they give you like green, yellow, red, like
Yeah.
Okay. Well, like it said for my lights that I was in the red, that they needed to be replaced and taken care of soon. Dude, I just put brand new headlights in. Like, I just went for my Uber inspection like a few weeks earlier because I had to get a new windshield. Like, dude, it's been insane the last couple months what's been happening. Like, I don't.
Wow.
Wendell, I don't know what the fuck is going on, man.
Is your major problem just the overheat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right
Well,
now, yeah, no. Right now, check this out, Libra. My main problem is the overheating
hmm
and the code. Like, I can't drive with that code. I mean, granted, you can drive with a code, but I can't because I drive for Uber. Someone gets in my car and my car's showing that I need maintenance in my car. I get reported to fucking Uber.
Well, that's when you take a little piece of black tape and cover up where that code should come up on your dash.
So, like, yeah, I need to get this done and diagnose this. And it's been a pain in the ass, and I've really had to become like my own mechanic on this. And it's actually kind of cool because I'm glad to know that I can at least do it at some point. You know, like, I mean, Wendell, what's the difference between them and me? Is that they learned at some point, is all.
That's what I always say. Why should I pay someone else something I can figure out on my own? So, and I do, and I haven't gotten myself into too many problems sticking to that. So, may not
Hey,
look pretty, but it gets done.
Shaolin, what's up? Sorry, Wendell, I was just saying what's up to the chat. There's a couple people watching right now. There's Lev Kung Fu Shaolin, who they bounce around every now and then. There's Sean, Space is Fake. And then there was some guy around 5:45. He was like the first one in here, named TJ Jones.
They must be all over in Europe.
No, actually, Sean lives in Boston. Shaolin, I have no idea where Shaolin lives.
Well, greetings, gentlemen.
But yeah, dude, this has been insane, man. Insane. And then
Well,
Dan is like nuts.
well, before you go off on that, could you do me a favor? So Paul on the plane is going to live stream what we do down in Salton, but he doesn't really know how to go about doing that. But wouldn't he just open up a Hangouts and then stream it, or how does that even work?
Okay, so what he's gonna want to do. Yeah, no, I said TJ Jones, bro. Sorry about that, Wendell. No,
Okay.
what he's gonna want to do is like from like their hotel room or something like that.
Well, no, he's up in Washington. So, but if he opens up a Hangout that people can call into, like the different teams that are going around the lake, then
Oh wait, okay, so he's just staying there. He's not coming to the Salton Sea then.
as far as I know, I don't know if
Okay.
he, yeah.
Well, if he's just gonna do this remotely from wherever he's still at, and he wants to stream it using somebody at the Salton Sea,
Yeah.
yeah, all he does is do like what I'm doing right now.
That's what I kind of figured. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then because the plan is to have a team at Capri, a team like covertly over at the rec area because you're not supposed to be there at night anyway. And then two other teams going around to each tower, locating the towers and firing off the flare guns. Dude, I got 50 flares coming. Should be here probably by Friday, white and blue. So we'll try to light the towers up with the lasers first, and then if we can't find them, we'll fire a few flares off to see. But I figured like so if those four people were all on a hangout together, then we could show each one as it was going off and observations and like that. Does that sound like that would be doable?
It should be able to be.
I would
Because
think.
you can have 9 people besides the person streaming on the panel.
Okay.
So
Well,
technically
cool.
you have 10 people on the panel. but one of them has to be the person broadcasting.
All right. So then once you've got the Hangout set up, then how do you broadcast to like YouTube then?
No, you got it backwards.
Okay.
You set up YouTube first. In YouTube, you have two options of streaming: custom and quick. If you click quick, it it uses Hangouts. If you click custom, you need some kind of broadcasting software on your computer.
Okay. So once you click quick, then you enter in. Does it just open up a Hangout for you automatically?
Yep.
Oh, sweet. And then you just share whatever that link is.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Now there was a point though at which you made it live, right?
Yeah, down at the bottom, there'll be a button that says start broadcast.
Okay.
And then there's a button that says stop broadcast once you start it while the Hangout's running. And then it pops up on your channel.
Nice.
Hey man, I got to roll the grind calls.
Mhm.
Check out that. I'd disconnect those heater hoses since you got them right there on the firewall, and I'd hook those two together and see what happens. But I don't know anything about the code. It's just a suggestion. It can't hurt.
Yeah, right?
Because if the heater core's plugged, it will restrict your flow of water and it will cause overheating.
That's what I was figuring. Sounded logical to me, you know? But alrighty, man. Hey, Libra, have yourself a good day, bro.
Hey
Stay
man,
safe.
thanks. Y'all be cool. I'll catch you later. I'll just watch it live though on the YouTube. Peace.
All right. Stay blessed, bro.
You too, man. Wendell, nice to meet you, man.
Hey, you too. Take care. Thanks for your advice.
Later. Everybody in chat, I can't see you because I'm not on there, but peace.
So, Josh, what I think I'd also do is after you get it flushed out, see if you can get like blow on the end of the tube, and if you can detect any more resistance. I mean, that would be one way of telling if it still might be plugged or something. Just depends. I mean, if it's blowing through without resistance, then you know you've cleared it. I mean, you might want to try blowing on it before you even run water through it, just to see how much resistance there is. And then after you run the water through, see if there's a difference. You know what I mean?
There is an air compressor in the garage.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to tell. Just get your lips on it and blow on it and see if there's how much resistance there is, and then run the water through it. Excuse me. It might be completely blocked. Who knows?
That's what I was thinking. Because, dude, I'm not getting any heat now.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes, you know, with the heaters and stuff, they have like a little radiator that can get plugged up. But if it's just a single like tube that's around, I don't know what it's around. I don't know what. Did you bring up a diagram on it? Can you find one?
On the heater core?
Yeah. Because if it's blocked and you can't clear it, then you may have to replace the heater core. But you also might want to have a little piece of pipe standing by where you can connect the in and out of the heater core and bypass that altogether, just in case you can't clear it. Then you can continue to troubleshoot beyond that. Can you zoom in on that? So the red part is the heater core? Or the green? Or the green is the pump? I can't see too well. Let me see if I can find my glasses. All right, I got my glasses on finally.
This wasn't actually showing what was under the hood, though. You see, this was just showing, like, this right here.
Yeah.
Is the firewall.
All right. What's that red thing?
You know what, dude? The diagram's not even for a 2014 Prius. You see, and this is the problem that I run into is because I don't have their books.
Oh.
But every now and then, I get smart and I'll figure out what to search for. Like if I search for hoses, right? But one of the other remedies that the guy was telling me about was actually to make sure I clear the condenser of debris. I don't think so.
Well, I would think that your condenser cooling system could get clogged up just like your radiator system. Did you flush that out at all, or just refilled it with coolant?
Mm-mm. That's not what he said. He said, clear it of debris. When you look at the condenser.
Oh, you mean some outside leaves or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's so what the condenser was it's something that kind of looks like the radiator that sits in front of the radiator and is strapped to the radiator.
Okay. Well, I know that, if there's a bunch of, for example, engine oil on the engine will run hotter. And then, of course, if it's like any kind of a radiator, if it's plugged up, because the air has to run freely through the veins on the radiator or the cooler. Because sometimes transmissions will have a little cooler up in front of the radiator as well. But yeah, you got to make sure that all those veins are clear of mud and dirt and whatever. But all you need for that is just like a power washer or a strong, stream from the hose.
They said don't use a power washer. You'll bend the that middle in there is kind of thin.
Yeah, if it's a strong power washer, yeah.
True. It would depend on what strength you were using, right?
Yep. You don't want to take the paint off.
No. But yeah, so this is what the the condenser looks like.
Okay. Hey, looks like Snack jumped on board, but he's muted.
Yo, what's up, Snack?
Snack, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, what's up, Jared?
Wendell, I don't know if I've ever talked to you before. Have I?
I don't think so, but it's good to meet you.
Yeah, you too, bro. What? You sound a lot like Snack. You guys from the same area?
Never seen us in the same room together.
I did not sound like him.
Yeah, you do.
No, you sound like them. and both of you sound like Yosemite Sam. Yeah, see what happens when you use your natural voice?
So what's up, man? Good morning to you.
Good morning. I'm just plugging stuff in. Hold on.
How's it going, Jared?
Going good, man. It's cold. It's cold. Where I'm at. A lot of bloody snow everywhere.
Really, it's snowing over there?
It snowed 2 days ago, and it's about 10 degrees right now. But the sun is out, bright as fuck. I can't tell if its trajectory is changing at all or whatever. It being closer to the springtime now, coming to the spring equinox, which, when is the spring equinox? Is that what, March 24th or something?
I'm kind of making a movement to call it the Sprequinox. Think about how much we save that syllable every year.
And then we spring forward
March 20th.
in April.
Yeah.
March 20th.
You know, I have this weird feeling that like the spring forward and the fall back is related to like the push and pull of the moon over the year.
No, it's fall forward and spring back.
It might be like that. But you know what I mean? Like there's like probably some kind of inconsistency like over the course of the year, right? We like the average of lunar day is based on that. So it's an average of the year though. It's not like a per day thing. So the I'm saying like in some way that cycle could be like springing ahead and falling back. It could move slower and faster at certain times of the year. Of course, I do believe that everything's just one big light up there in the sky anyway. I didn't get to talk to you about that so much, Wendell, but I'd like to, man. Just to get your thoughts and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. So,
yeah.
Oh, check it out. You guys don't even know this. So
I just want to keep it on the flat Earth, man. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about.
I went to church yesterday morning, and I'm walking up the steps, and there's one of our pastors like greeting folks in. Oh, hey, Wendell, how's it going? And he goes, "Do you know anything about the flat Earth?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, yeah, I know quite a bit actually." So there I am, like flat smacking him. It was pretty cool. So
That's great, man. Sometimes that's like not wanted, you know, by clergy people.
Hey, Wendell, where was he when we were over there battling those guys?
Okay, which guys are you talking about? There's been
At your men's meeting.
Oh, yeah, Pastor Glenn. Well, he doesn't go to that men's meeting. He's got they have other, small groups going on. So no, yeah, he wasn't there, unfortunately. But that's where he probably heard it from. So I, flag smacked him a bit, told him to go Google, flat Earth clues, and I'll answer. And I gave him one of the Monterey Bay cards, and told him I'd answer any more questions that he had. So,
yeah, Antonio Subarez was just live, and he was using your video.
Oh, cool!
Like, this is a good flat Earth experiment, and he's saying because, like, the lakes and stuff that they do a lot of these things at are not at sea level. You know what I'm saying?
I know Salton isn't. about the lowest lake you can get at.
Well, I don't know whether or not I agree with Antonio, but his assertion was that you cannot use the Earth curve calculator because it's meant to be at sea level.
Well, it would only mean that the circumference would be even less. So there should be even a greater drop. I mean, it's just a small, very small percentage, but technically speaking,
he redid the calculate. He did the calculator on your testing, and he was like, he's like, you use like 61 feet for hitting target,
depending on the length.
And his count was I want to say like 80 or higher, 81 feet or 100 or something like that. It was higher. I'm not sure why. It's weird. He's Antonio's going against Oakley and Bob.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which really means that he sees himself as an equal to both of them, which he isn't probably, but maybe he is. I don't know. Like Oakley, he's right about Oakley. Things he said about him, you know.
Well, I know Monterey Bay was right at sea level, so that was like 70 feet below.
Yeah.
And what we're going actually, I mentioned this before you hopped on, but we're going back out to Salton on the 16th. And so
cool. If I can, I'd love to join you guys.
Yeah, I've got a promo video that I'm waiting for one more approval on, and then I'm going to send it out. But yeah, those towers that Sydney and I mapped out, some of them are hundreds of feet below, so that should be pretty cool. And we can already see them with our naked eye. We just can't identify which ones we're looking at. So we're going to light them up with the lasers, and if that doesn't work, we're going to fire some flares, and we'll observe both from the Capri side and the Salton Sea recreational area, that side as well. So we'll have two locations looking at the same target. So it should completely destroy any kind of like refraction argument.
Yeah.
So.
Standard refraction. Give me a break.
Well, that's the thing is like even with the Metabunk calculator, we're still under. So there's really no argument at all. And then Rich from Mr. Thrive and Survive was going to come out and join us, and he wants to do some mirror and then some moon observations as well.
Wendell, have you heard about the lunar analemma?
Just briefly and recently. I know that like the moon faces the Earth, doesn't change, and it does rotate somewhat. But actually, Rich over at Mr. Thrive and Survive, he just did a recent moon observation with cameras on equatorial mounts, and he did a time lapse and caught it where, because it was taking pictures every 5 seconds, and all of a sudden the moon just did a quick rotation, I don't know, maybe a 3-degree movement, which that can be completely impossible.
Right. No, but I think it is because I look at everything that's moving like it's a motor. You spin a motor is not plugged in, you just spin it with your hand. And you feel the pole catch to the next thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, but it wouldn't jerk unless it was missing a tooth in the gear. So
no, my point is it's like a magnetic moment. There's nothing there's no gear.
Yeah.
It's just polarity. It's just like catching and and this what I think it basically is that we have to wait a period of time where nothing is actually happening, and then it's like boom, that thing happens,
Right.
It's not like constant, and that's why I think it's like a magnetic moment. Like it's got to build up, like time, whatever, energy and stuff like that, and then it's like click.
Well, I mean, this particular one he caught was during the lunar eclipse, so that would be I guess defined by one of those moments. I think what we have to do is list every anomaly that we see with the moon, and then start to connect the dots. Because
recently, can you explain this? Like it was right around Chinese New Year. and like I've been here at Josh's and I watched the moon set and I watched sunrise and stuff, and then just like right after Chinese New Year, it pitched over like I don't know. I'm not sure how many degrees on the horizon it would be, but like a good distance. Like I was like, wow, the moon just fucking decided to set in a different place today. Okay,
Wow.
like for 2 or 3 days, and then it went back, and now it's back to where it was. But everything changed. Like the constellations looked higher. Like everything looked weird for like 2 days, and nobody would fucking tell me anything was weird about that. I was like,
Wow.
all right.
See, you wouldn't know unless you're observing every night, you know?
Right. And that's not I mean, I don't know what to say that is, but I would say based on how my idea of like where the sun is and where the moon is, and if there's some relationship with them, it's like they both got higher up in the sky, but just only for a couple days, and then they came back down, almost like a how we get epicycles and shit.
Right.
Like, what if it's that's just like a moving up and down, that when it's translated to our eye, it appears that it's going in a loop. Just like if the sun is, you know what I mean? Like what what I saw in the moon's path could be perceived as a retrograde motion if you were at a different dimensionality to it. So I just feel like I have a very simple viewpoint, and that's like that there's just one light that makes a lot of lights up there, and that it's got moves like Jagger. Okay. It's got the move. It does it. There's a couple things that it can do that if we understand that it telegraphs to other shape associations, right? So like if we're talking about like the Ptolemaic epicycles, which I'd like to kind of get a group together and like kind of try to use it if we can, apply it maybe if possible. Um, that stuff's just like going overhead, and then have you ever seen those before?
The what?
The Ptolemaic epicycles.
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay, it's like Euclid. The time period Euclid. Anyway, they're right around contemporary. And Ptolemy. See, what we observe like with Mercury is like you'll hear astrologers say like it's Mercury retrograde. You might hear that.
Right. Right.
Okay, so that means it's doing an epicycle loop basically. So in the sky, if we were trying to figure out what it was doing, it's like on some nights it's going backwards and then it comes back forwards, and it's like it does a little twist loop in the sky, like a little
Right.
curlicue. And
Yeah.
they okay, so that's what we see in the sky. So I mean, there's just like different, obviously, you get it. Like there's just different translations of like one movement can translate to another movement, or in a way that's like, wow, I didn't expect that.
Right. And so on the flat Earth model, how do you explain retrograde movement?
Oh, explain retrograde movement. I mean, well, with my thing, I'm kind of explaining everything as it's just one thing doing everything.
Yeah.
And that these like the shimmies that we kind of perceive as being a retrograde motion, or whatever, these are all explainable through like one set of primary things that happens. Like in the stars. What are the stars don't really do crazy shit. You notice that? You don't see like, oh, what, the fucking star just moved.
Yeah, but we've witnessed that though. I mean, I've seen a couple of videos where all of a sudden the star jumps, and it's like, okay, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah, I've
the camera
seen that.
didn't.
I've seen that too, and then I think I've got a fucking problem with my brain, but I don't have it like recorded.
Yeah. Well, okay. There was
Now,
we were out at Salton in the middle of the night. We were looking for places to do the observation. It was me and I think it was Josh V and Nathan Gonzalez. And I'm looking up at the star, and all of a sudden it winked at me. I'm like, what? I mean, it got brighter and then went dim, and then it blinked again, and it wasn't a plane. It was a star.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, did I just witness a supernova?
I don't know why it is, but like I feel like
Weird stuff happening up there.
I mean, I spoke to a lot of people that just like have like they'll have like a personal connection to like a viewing like that. It's really interesting. I wonder if there isn't like a personal relationship that we share with the point of light that we're seeing. You know?
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Well, like I was
from
saying
the
before, if we like made a list of all the different just with the moon, because there's astronomical records that date back into even I think the early 15, where they're seeing up until and through to today. But the record I'm thinking about that I have in PDF goes up to the late 1800s, where they're seeing volcanoes on the moon. They're also witnessing stars seen through the dark part of the moon, which we now have video footage of. I mean, when you consider some of that stuff, it's like, well, wait a minute, what is really going on with that luminary?
Yeah.
And I still haven't seen anything from any kind of astronomer or NASA as to why the light from the moon is cool light. They just avoid the question, as far as I can tell.
Well, I guess there's like two parts of this, and one of them is that flat earthers assert that the moon like cools things, which may or may not be true. However, it is much cooler light by its color temperature than the redness of the sun, red yellow sun, right? It's like, how do you even make light transform wavelength and take it all the other radiation bands out of it? You know, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Snack, you're still cutting out. I didn't even hear any of that.
Oh, that's cool. What did I say? Yeah, we there's no explanation for being able to transform the light from infrared to blue light, basically bluish light. Can you hear me, Mendel?
Hey, Snack, I think you need to check your signal or call back in.
Yo, Wendell.
I can kind of hear you.
I think maybe you're having a problem with your stuff. I think you're having a problem with your end, maybe.
I can check mine. Hold on.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you. Wendell.
Now I can hear somebody.
Hey, what's up? Hey, Wendell, it's me, Snack. What are we doing here? Can you hear me now? Still?
It's still kind of cutting out a little bit, but a lot better than before.
Are you on Wi-Fi? Are you on Wi-Fi?
I'm doing Wi-Fi, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's probably what it is, I guess. I don't know. So I'm pretty sure I'm on cell here. Is Windows still having difficulties?
Maybe.
I just realized like I have to uninstall Hangouts so many times because it freezes up that I don't reset the thing to use Wi-Fi. Maybe my Wi-Fi would be better.
Hey, Wendell, you still there, man?
J-Rod Wilkie.
What's up, Snap? Would you like a double burger?
Yo, what's up, Jared?
What's up, guys? That's
Yo.
everybody off.
Oh no, actually Wendell just texted me on my phone and said that his internet's acting all funky right now. It's actually been his internet was acting weird for a couple minutes right now. So you working today?
Yeah. And then,
What time you got to start?
10:30 today. I got to go to this meeting.
Wait, you got to go where?
I got to go do this pre-trial thing. I'm getting ready to get sentenced to probation. I got to go do this thing where they ask you all about your past history and shit. It's stupid. It's all about money. So, yeah. So what time did she get off last night?
I have no idea. I wasn't around when she actually left. I wasn't around when she left, but she was around for a while.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. I think she's a victim just like everybody else in this crazy fucking place. She kept saying flat what? Flat. And it's like she's wanting the answers. You know, it's like if you guys aren't good enough to give me answers, and I'm going to stick with the people that do have answers. And that's kind of screwing yourself, right? Like because somebody has answers, you're going to go with them no matter what.
Dude, Jared, I'm
True
not
way to go
sure.
about things.
I'm not sure you get what she was doing. Like I can see what she was doing, and it's actually quite clever.
What was she doing? I don't,
So when you deal with like scriptural people, right? They'll use a phrase, and it's iron sharpens iron, right? Like
To sharpen something hard, you need something hard to sharpen it against.
Right.
That's what she was doing. She was playing the part of really being a dick. Like, what are you going to do the day that you're talking to somebody of importance somewhere and you tell them that the earth is flat and they go, a flat what? That's actually a legitimate answer, Jared, or a legitimate question.
Okay, so obviously there's a void that people have, right? It's got to be flat what? It's got to be. So what's the answer we give then?
I have no idea, dude. All I know is I can tell you what it's not by what I'm looking at.
Right. The presentation that we have been given is bupkis. Doesn't match. If it doesn't fit, you must have quit.
Hmm.
Oh, it's interesting. Everybody's got different standards of where their reality is safe. You know, like Rob, for instance. Rob, me and Jimmy pretty much got Rob to admit that the sun could be an electrical circuit. He's of the opinion that you can't start an electrical circuit without some sort of spark.
Dude, I only
And
caught like half of what you said. Can you repeat that? Like you were cutting out bad.
okay, so Rob Vandercluck or whatever his last name.
Okay.
He is on the fence, or he says so. He's got a certain standard in his brain of where reality is. You know, he's got his standards, right? Like something happens in his brain, and that's enough for him to think that that could be true. When it comes down to the mathematics, it's as if he's searching for that lost equation or something. It's like, dude, in other words, his standard for reality is way higher on the chart than mine. Like, I don't need a bunch of mathematical numbers to tell me what my reality is. Apparently, some people do. So it's like if they're gonna jump into this flat Earth thing, they want to make sure that they got everything covered, even though there's going to be somebody that has a different answer. You know?
Yeah. You know what?
Some answers aren't good enough for people. You know, they just never will be.
It's been interesting listening to Rob.
Dude, he wants so bad to be able to call himself a flat earther, but I think he's just stuck in the whole way the math works. You know,
Well,
and you know, to each his own. I mean, everybody's got their way of discerning things. You know, and his way is the mathematics of the way it works.
you know, to some people, If it fits on paper, it's good enough for them.
Yeah. No matter what their senses are telling them is like, as far as like, okay, well, it seems like it's flat. It looks like it's flat. You know, the numbers though says it's a sphere. It's like, okay, dude, when are you gonna understand that the numbers of what they gave you? Of course, they're gonna be right. You have what, 400 some odd years allegedly of getting it right. You know.
Well, that's like yesterday with Jibby and uh, Zez and who else was talking about? They were talking about like dimensions and stuff, right? I don't like talking about that stuff anymore. You know why? Because the same people that taught us about dimensions are the same people that taught us about that fucking ball. So why are people believing in them about that?
Well, dimensions make more sense on a flat stationary plane anyway.
No, they don't.
Well, what do you mean they don't? I mean, if there was such thing as dimensions, then you would need a stationary
Jared,
set place.
Jared, Jared, show me an example of something that has more than length, width, and height.
No, I get you on that. I totally get it on that.
Like all that shit is some shit in somebody's mind. Like a fucking tesseract and shit like that. Come on, get the fuck out of here. You drew a pretty picture of a box that can't be explained. Okay. How does that apply to my reality? Show me an example of that in my reality. Oh, well, you see, you can't see it because it's in another dimension. Fuck off. Another thing that I can't see, that I can't verify, that I can't check, you know?
I've never understood how dimensions work, or the whole the reason that they would even be coming to being. Like,
Dimensions are actually are like impossible. So okay, so they try to say that like one dimension would be like a dot. Two dimensional is lines, right? Three dimensional, you have height, width, and length. Well, dude, if you draw a line on a piece of paper, technically in the thinking of dimensions, you just drew a three-dimensional line because that that dust, that ink, whatever you wrote with, however small, still has some kind of height. You get what I'm saying? Like nobody has ever perceived anything that is two-dimensional, technically. And ask them to show you an example, and they'll draw a what they say is a two-dimensional picture on a three-dimensional piece of paper that's in the real world.
right?
Yep. Don't like dimensions anymore. Don't like atoms anymore. And I don't like what they tell me about the birthing, what happens in the womb for 9 months. So what woman agreed to have a camera up there for 9 months, Jared?
I don't know.
And how would that physically be possible? That's not possible. That's impossible. There's no way that's happening. You're killing the child if that. There's no way you have a camera in there. You don't put a camera up there. Dude, to put a camera in there, they would have to pop the sack. You pop that sack and they're no good.
So weird how that baby grows.
Well, like I said, do we really know how it grows? And I mean, especially like the early stages before the ultrasound, like where they're trying to tell us that it's cell after cell after cell after cell after cell splitting.
Yeah.
That's what I call bullshit. Once they have like an ultrasound, because now then you're physically seeing the baby. That's a little bit different. But yeah. What the heck happened?
What do you mean?
Oh, nothing. Hey, what's up, Pete? Thanks for stopping by.
Pete who?
What Pete would you think?
Poncho?
Yeah.
What's up, Poncho? I was playing the day 666 earlier this morning. It's so funny. Poncho had his head things going on where he had the old man. He's like, I can't see the curtains. It's so fucking funny. Oh man, good times.
Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of good times, Jared.
Yeah. Yeah, I sent Cy
Hey,
the link.
so, dude, I posted the link everywhere in the back chats.
Does Poncho have one?
Oh, wait, that's right. He's the Son of Man now. Hmm. Oh, nothing pops up.
Nothing what?
I said nothing pops up. When I type in Son of Man into hangouts. But yeah, dude.
Get on here, Poncho. You bugger. Stupid bugger.
So it's funny because a lot of times when I argue with these Globers, I I have to make myself really appear stupid, you know?
You have to dub yourself down a little bit.
Well, no, like okay, so you ever seen the movie Maverick?
Yes. Many
So
times.
you remember the first poker game he plays in that movie? Remember
Yeah.
what he does?
Yep. He sits there and he watches everybody loses for an hour.
Yep.
And dude gets all pissed off when he calls him out.
Yeah. I could smell trouble on this hombre. And refried beans.
And refried beans.
At least when they cut my hands off, my lucky shirt will fit.
Yeah. Dude, there's a great part in that movie too where he's talking to the Russian, and the Russian's like, and I have nothing to do, and it's boring. And he goes, boring?
Yeah.
Like, how would you like to go greatest Western, what is it? Western something of all.
Wait. Greatest Western thrill of all.
Thrill of all, yeah.
Like,
So he dresses Mel Gibson up in the Indian garb. He tells him that, what is it? They got him up to $500. It was really $1,000.
no, it was really like 2,000, wasn't it? And he ended up only getting.
Yeah, the colonel or whatever, the Russian guy, he gets him up to $2,000, right? Because he has to shoot him with a bow and arrow. He's like, see, oh, real easy, see.
Well, no, dude, he had him up to 1,000, and then if you remember, the guy went to grab his gun, and he goes,
yeah,
and he goes, and he's all like, huh, and he goes, 2,000, and he goes, fuck it, like basically he's like, fuck it, like just give me my gun.
Okay, yeah, $2,000, all right.
Oh, dude, you don't understand about me in that movie. Like, I have probably seen that movie like 100 times.
Yeah.
Between that and Top Gun was like my favorite movies growing up.
Yeah, it's a good one, man. I had me a pair of races. He's like, your tell seems to be when you get your cards back to the front to the back, and you get all fidgety.
Or hey, dude, what about when the guys that he paid to beat him up, right? When they come to collect,
Yeah.
and he screws them over because like they gave him more change than the $100 bill that he gave them.
Right.
Like, and
I always rewinded that part. $100 bill. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna need about 75, 80. And he's like,
that was
80, 75. Yeah. That's 25 a piece. Yeah. That's 25 a piece.
And there's like 6 of them standing there.
Right.
No, what's her name? Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
Jodie Foster's an interesting cat if you want to get into some weird shit. So, you know that she actually belonged in college? She belonged to the female version of what you call it, Skull and Bones.
Really?
She belonged in the female sect of Skull and Bones at Yale.
Ain't that something?
Yeah, and she went to Yale, so.
always wondered why Silence of the Lambs got all these awards. Makes you wonder if the movie was really that great or if it was just them pushing it.
I don't know. I liked Red Dragon better than I liked Silence of the Lambs.
Really? Wasn't that like a prequel to Silence of the Lambs? Wasn't that like what happened before, like the start of Hannibal? Whatever.
No, actually, I think it was. I think Red Dragon was actually afterwards, and it was the bad guy in it wasn't Hannibal. It was actually this guy named Dollarhide. He was the guy with the scar on his face because he had a cleft palate. I read the book along with watching the movie, so the prequel one was they actually did a movie called Hannibal.
That's what it was then.
I saw that too. I saw it in theaters. You know what? It was a really sad movie. They fed Hannibal his sister.
Wow. Makes you wonder about guys like that.
Yeah, like no wonder why he's pissed off at the world, right?
Give somebody no other choice. That's what you get. I always wonder too, those the people that are subjected to being tortured and killed and whatnot, which unfortunately this world is, it's possible. But I always wonder, like, their lives, like their spirits, their souls, you know, is there some type of redemption that they get for having to go through the torturous, hell on earth? It might be a little deep, but
Nah, dude, I just think they're done. I think everybody's got the idea of what's going on here a little bit twisted and misconstrued.
on purpose, and rightfully so. I mean, how do we know what's true and what's not? Almost every image in my head is their image put into my reality. Those certain images just don't ever leave your brain about the way that you think of things, how your interpretation of your reality is, and it's based off of their bullshit. I still think of their map when I think of the map. Like I still have Canada cut off for some reason in my brain and an idea of where the continents are at, but not totally. But it's always that flat, linear map that has the United States on the left, South America, and then starting from left to right, you hit Europe and Russia, and on the far right hand side you have Australia and New Zealand, and the far left hand side of the map there's Hawaii and Alaska. You know,
Yeah. So how far is Australia from Hawaii actually?
it's good. We did this one time. I think it is a 2 hour difference, but they're like 22 hours ahead of Hawaii, which is really strange. It's where that international like date line crosses. Don't quote me. I say 2 hours, but it could be more, more like maybe four. But I know they're not too far away from each other.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird what they do with that international dateline thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Dude, it's a little weird what they do with the time zones and stuff, period.
Yeah, and how a lot of places don't go by the time zones.
Makes me wonder how the hell that works.
Yeah. Well, they got us on the Julian calendar, right? 31 days in a month, except for February.
Yep.
Strange time. Spring equinox. That's why I think they want to fuck us up. Like they want to keep us out and confused of what reality is really giving us. That's why they screw every 4 years. It's a leap year. And if you notice also too, when we do spring forward, it'll start getting dark, right? Like at 6 or something crazy. Isn't that what happens? Or am I thinking of the opposite? See, I'm even confused. I still don't know really what the fuck's going on.
You're thinking of the opposite, I think. Pretty sure. Like, I'm pretty sure that in the spring, because the days start to get longer, dude. Like, you start having longer days of daylight.
Right, because winter is shorter days. Or wait, I thought winter was longer days.
Nope, winter is longer nights, shorter days.
Longer nights, shorter days. Yeah, that makes sense. Because then when the sun's on the Tropic of Cancer,
Dude, during the summer, like the sun was setting at almost like 9 o'clock and stuff like that some nights.
yeah, that's right.
That's why things are able to grow during the spring and during the summer, because
Right,
you
right.
get more light. Especially if you're growing some bud plants, dude. You need to make sure you got them on a good 12-hour cycle.
I'd like to keep a watch on what the time, like, because it is interesting how our senses get all kind of whacked out. Like I know mine do in the spring, in the summer. You just don't pay attention really unless you're out there one day and you realize, holy shit, I've been outside in the sun for like 8 hours.
Wait, whacked out like how though?
Because you're not used to being outside in the wintertime, so your idea of when it starts to get dark or just the way the outside is working, and then summertime it seems you'll look at your watch and be like, holy shit, it's 6:30 and it's still, fairly bright outside. It's kind of a whacked out thing that you're kind of trick yourself. And that's why they fuck with the time too. Spring forward. The next thing you know, you're looking at, you're like, holy shit, I can't believe it's, whatever already. I don't know. It's totally on purpose, is what I think. And they keep us on the cycle so that we don't catch it or something. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. What exactly it is they're trying to do.
Well, so Zern is in the chat though. And he is acting like his normal self.
What do you mean? Is he yelling at people? Zern, stop it.
He's just acting like Zern.
Who else we got in chat? Pete still out there?
No idea if Pete's still out there, man. Have not seen him. So this stupid ass dragon capsule docking. I'm gonna have to dig into that because that was pissing me off.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm gonna have to dig into it when I get inside and get on the computer.
Oh, okay.
Because, yeah, it's not fitting at all, dude. Like, the numbers don't match up. It's bullshit.
Where did Snack go? Snack, where you at?
No idea. He's downstairs somewhere. But yeah, actually, I think I'm actually gonna end my stream in a minute anyway, because I need to take a nap before like 10 o'clock so that you can get up and work on my car.
All right, sounds good. Is Snack gonna run one or?
Dude, I have no idea what anyone's doing. I don't even know if anyone else has Here, give me a second and let me see if anyone else is streaming right now.
Sai usually streams now.
Nope. Kenny and Sai are both out. But yeah, dude, I think I'm gonna log off when I get back upstairs. I gotta
Okay.
quit. I gotta quit doing the shit where I stay up fucking for hours and hours and hours. Oh, hey, so good news is we're actually supposed to be having another go around and talking with like spirits and stuff, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's real awesome.
Well, and apparently he also wants us to like work with some of his coworkers or whatever, or cohorts or whatever the hell you want to call
Henchman.
them. Henchmen will work.
His crew. Well, shit. Tell Snack to start one up or something.